Hello, hello. I'm going to make sure this is streaming. We are live on YouTube, and I think I just. Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to set today's agenda. I am going to share my account suspension story, which sounds really scary, and it was really scary. And that's why I wanted to share my story and also provide some resources for anyone who is curious about this or is seeking guidance. At the end, I will also answer any Q&A that we have. So let me check my agenda real quick. Okay. And how's the lighting? I think it looks good. Okay. Let's get into it. So I have been selling on Amazon since January of this year. So not even a full year. And I received an email stating that my account was on a 72-hour deactivation notice and that there were issues. And if I didn't resolve it, my account would be temporarily deactivated. So that was extremely scary to receive an email of that nature. I looked into it and I read the email thoroughly. And I got on the phone with Amazon Account Health. They have a special account health team separate from seller support. And what I found out is that the violation was for multiple selling accounts. Now, I knew that I had done nothing wrong, so I knew that I just had to plead my case to Amazon. However, there are mistakes that happen. Lines get crossed, and sometimes things happen in error that we don't know about or out of our control. I tried searching on the internet for information about this topic, and there's very little out there. It's really taboo when people talk about account suspensions and account deactivations. And I think because selling on Amazon is great, and no matter how you sell on Amazon, which business model you choose, we have to remember that it's Amazon's playground and we just play on it, right? So they make the rules and we have to make sure that we're following the rules if we want to keep selling on Amazon and enjoy all of the benefits that come with that. So I received that email and I submitted information to support my claim that I do not have multiple selling accounts and yada, yada, yada. And what happened was, after I got on the phone with Account Health, I realized something. Now, what happened was I had a bunch of global accounts open for Europe, Australia, and Japan. And I couldn't remember if maybe these accounts got opened back in January when I first started selling on Amazon. You know how sometimes you're setting up your account and you don't really know what you're doing. Maybe there's a button that I clicked that I didn't realize. Well, I've never sold anything in those countries. So that was interesting to me. Also, if you want me to make a video about how to set up an Amazon seller account, let me know and I can definitely do that. So I realized that was number one. And when I got on the phone with the really nice lady at Amazon, she was so funny because she's like, she saw all my information and she's like, oh, I'm nearby you. I work in a call center over here. And that was funny because I used to work in a call center in the city that I live in. And I noticed a lot of companies have call centers here. So I thought that was funny. Anyway, so she had told me that there was an email that went out to a lot of Amazon sellers that says, expand globally. Click this button to expand your store into different marketplaces. and that my call was not the first of this nature. So she already knew that this error was going on, but still I had to fix it. So she walked me through what to do. And what happened was one of the global accounts ended up getting deactivated because I never sold anything on it. So I had to go ahead and resubmit some information to get that account back up and running. And because of the 72-hour notice, I thought if I don't receive a response, maybe I should keep resubmitting the paperwork. Please don't do that. Don't do that. No. Also, I reached out to several account health specialists. There are companies that specialize in helping you with your Amazon account, and they range in price vastly. So there's some that are very affordable, where it's a subscription or a retainer that you could pay less than $100 a month for account protection. And then there's some that charge upwards of $700, $800 a month for their services. And what's kind of like not having any insurance, there's a premium that they might charge you of several $1,000s just to help you, these third-party companies, and their help isn't guaranteed. So you're already worried about what's going to happen with your account, and then you're getting squeezed by these companies where you don't know if they're even going to help you. So that's really frustrating, and it makes me sad to see that. I think that some of these companies do have really good intentions, but then there are others that definitely take advantage. And I've seen other sellers get taken advantage, and that's why I'm making this video, to share my experience so it could be out there if anyone is curious about the process or is in the same situation. You're not alone. So I wanted to share that. Anyway, I fixed the first account that was deactivated. I got it back up running. I had to submit some documents and banking information. And once that was reinstated, I used the reinstatement to go back and submit to my United States account and show them that the other global account is in good standing. Can you please stop this deactivation? Don't deactivate my account. Well, there is a waiting period once you submit information, right? And this is why I said don't submit it multiple times, because then it kind of like starts this timer over. And so, long story short, my account did go down, and it was deactivated, and it says it was deactivated for 1 day. And I was in shock about it. And I mentioned I had reached out to a few companies for help. One of the companies never even responded to me. I contacted them via email and also on Discord, no response. And then one company responded immediately, which is really nice to see. And then the other one, they didn't respond till a few days later. So there you go with that. Sometimes when you need help, you can't even get it right away. So the best advice I have is you need to advocate for yourself, because if you're not doing that, nobody else is going to do that for you. Even if you're paying someone, maybe you have virtual assistants to help, or a team or a company that you've hired, you're still going to be the best advocate for your business and yourself. So you need to make sure that any issue, you're staying on top of it. I had to call multiple times to Amazon and stay on the phone with them for hours to get this straightened out. So you just need to do what needs to be done. And don't give up, because I noticed in the email that they sent me, it says that your account went into temporary deactivation. And if you don't resolve this issue within 19 days, your account will be permanently suspended. And that's really scary to think about. So any issue you definitely have to address in a timely manner. Don't sleep on it. Don't expect somebody else to handle it. You need to handle it. And below, I'm going to leave a link for my calendar. If you want help, I'll help you. And I would never charge people hundreds or thousands of dollars like other people do or other service providers. I will just be your friend and hold your hand if you're upset or you're going through this. You're not alone. So there's that. Anyway, so I don't think my account was even deactivated for 24 hours before I submitted all the documents and it came back up. So before one of the companies could even respond to my email, I already had my issue resolved, and it felt so good for me to reply to them saying, "Well, thank you for your response, but I did fix my account issue. Thank you. I'm not going to pay you several $1,000s." Anyway, moving forward, I think it is smart to have some kind of account protection just so you have another tool in your toolbox. And again, regardless what business model on Amazon, everyone needs someone in their corner to advocate to help them. So, moving forward, I am going to have more tools in my toolbox because I never want to be in this position again. And I've seen some people who they have their account suspended or deactivated and they just leave it. They just give up on it. But it's not that hard if you just address any issue, especially I knew that I hadn't done anything wrong. It was just about communicating effectively my point so I could show Amazon that my account is in good standing and should be reactivated. And thank you for everyone who's watching live right now. If you have any questions, anything about selling on Amazon, making money online, please let me know. I do several different business models on Amazon and several different ways I generate income through Amazon and other ways. So if you have any questions, please let me know and I would be happy to answer them live. If there's anybody who's watching this on the replay, please leave a comment and ask any question, and I would be happy to answer. I just wanted to share my experience so anyone else who's going through this can know that they're not alone and you have options. And I don't want to see anybody else basically get kicked while they're down, because that's kind of what it felt like to me. And I'm going to read some notes that I have here. So, one of the companies that quoted me for account protection, $800 a month, and it's a 6-month commitment. For what? And they did ask me some intake questions about how many issues I anticipate having to deal with on a monthly basis, and I let them know that it's minimal. And they said that that price is a 6-month commitment, but after 6 months, they could potentially reassess and go lower. So that's a big chunk of change to pay. And again, nothing's guaranteed. So you still have to know the policies and know how to talk to Amazon and submit all the documents yourself. I hope that sharing my story is helpful. And I'm so glad that I was able to handle this issue because I didn't give up. And the whole time, my family was with me. So I was technically on vacation. My family was staying with me. They came in from out of state and we were spending family time for the holidays. And so I had to deal with all of this on top of everything else that was going on. But I didn't let that stop me, right? Because it's really important to make sure that your account health is in good standing. And I have a question, so I'm going to pull it up. How do they protect your account? Like, what do they do? So the third-party providers, that's a really good question. So they say that if there's any issue, like let's say you get an IP claim, which is an intellectual property claim, or something on your account, they'll work with you to resolve it. And also, that's not a guarantee that they will actually resolve it. There are other companies who there's a very well-known gentleman who is a Amazon seller, and he's also a lawyer. So you can hire him and have him on retainer. And I know a lot of sellers that do that. So they just say, my lawyer will handle it. And I think he does have really good service. So that is an option for Amazon sellers to get help with their account health. I actually know someone who has had their account shut down for a few months, and they never retained any kind of professional help. And I just wanted people to know that there were options. There's resources, and definitely talk to other people and other sellers so you can find out what's best for your situation. Because again, let's say I had my own I have my own brand, right? And I'm going to sell my items on my own website. Well, that's wonderful, but the great part about selling on Amazon is that 50% of all sales done online are done through Amazon. So there's a huge amount of traffic going to the Amazon website. So if you have something that you're trying to sell, whether it's your product or you're just buying something and reselling it, more eyeballs are going to see it on Amazon, and you're going to be way more successful because of the Amazon platform. But then what comes with that is you have to make sure you're following their rules, and they can be really strict. So you just need to know how to work with them and follow the guidelines. And it's not that scary. When I first got started selling on Amazon, I actually told a friend that I was going to do this full time, and they had told me that they had known about 3 people who had their account deactivated, and that it was really risky and scary. And I totally get that. But I think that if you're running your business in an ethical way, you have a good chain of command, receipts, documentation, and you can present your case effectively, then I don't think that there's anything to worry about. You just have to be persistent, and that's that. So if anyone else has any more questions, please drop them in the chat. I'd be happy to answer any questions or share any more stories. What are my thoughts about Temu? Do I think they might blow Amazon away? Ooh, no, please ask more questions. I love this question. Honestly, it's going to be really hard to compete with Temu because they are in China where all of the manufacturing gets done. So it's extremely hard to compete with that. And what's happening is, even if US sellers have a great idea and they're importing their items, there's different regulations for the Chinese sellers. So I've seen lots of ideas and products that are stolen, counterfeited, crazy. Also, the shipping over there is a whole nother ball game. And I've seen some people say, how come the shipping costs this? Well, it's China. It's not the United States. It's completely different. And what I noticed in Asia is that live shopping is a huge thing. And I do think that some of that will trickle over to Amazon and to other platforms in the United States. And I think that that will be more of a trend. But definitely, it's going to be really hard to compete with Temu as it gets more popular, and things like that. But if shoppers are looking for specific brands, like for example, Nike or Adidas, those items aren't going to be sold on Temu, at least not genuine Nike or Adidas branded items. So if anyone sees any branded items on Temu, even makeup, it's not genuine. It's gonna be counterfeited. So that's something to keep in mind and be aware of, that there's gonna be a lot of fake items, and the only way to get them and to ensure their authenticity is gonna be through Amazon. But that's something that I've been thinking about actually. That's really funny. Also, I've been thinking, sidebar, I've been thinking about doing some what we call private label in Amazon, is where you are the importer of your own goods from overseas and you work directly with a manufacturer. A lot of people wonder why all of the manufacturing is done in China. And I think it's funny because I get that question. I totally get it. It's logical, right? But if you think about all of the, from an environmental standpoint, if you think about all of the things that goes into manufacturing, would you want to live around a manufacturing plant? I don't think I would. Mm-mm, right? So if anyone wants to make a lot of money, you can move to China and work in environmental services. That's a booming industry, actually. I know people who work there in environmental services and make like half a million dollars a year easily. So, pro tip, if anyone's looking for a career change, they need a lot of help over there. So, um, that's really funny. So, I did say that I was going to provide some resources in case anybody finds themselves in this situation. Maybe you're watching this video at a later date and you're looking for some information. I hope that this information has helped you. I did say that I will link my calendar somewhere, and feel free to schedule a call with me if you want, and I will help you because I don't think anyone should have to go through this alone. And I just wanted people to know that there are options and you shouldn't have to feel like you're being kicked when you're down. And if there's any more questions that anyone has about any topic, please let me know before I end this stream. And I hope everyone enjoyed this. I thought it would be fun to do a story time and a live Q&A. And if there's any other topics that you'd like me to go over, please let me know and I can do more of these if there's interest for that. I just want to provide some value and share my experience. Thank you everyone who's watching. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great day and happy holidays. And wishing everyone a prosperous new year. So excited for the new year. Let's get it.